our world wants you to be discontent, especially in the United States. There are more depressed people in the United States than any other country in the world. And let's be real, when it comes down to conveniences and luxuries and things that people enjoy in the United States, we have access to way more things than most people in the world have access to. We have conveniences, we have all these things, and yet we always find a way, the average person always finds a way to feel as if they're missing something, like they want more, they need more. If I could only have this, then I could be happier, and all these things like that. And the truth is, our society actually breeds discontent. If you listen to commercials, they tell you, you need this, you gotta have this, you deserve this. And when you don't have these things, if you listen to the noise in the market, you really believe that you're missing something in your life. And the truth is, I always say addition by subtraction. The truth is, a lot of times we actually have too much. When you look at it, so it says it's called envy. It's not really envy to evolve. It's discontent. I guess there's an element of envy that has to go in there, because you wish you had, and usually people are looking at the lives of other people and wishing they had. But the truth is, look at society right now compared to, let's say, 40 years ago. How many people have rolled around and looked at the size of the homes that people lived in 40, 50 years ago? We're talking about 5 and 6 family, 6 people in a family, right? And they had these small houses. And now look at the size of the houses we have. Bigger homes, smaller families. Right now, I remember one of the wildest things. I purchased a house a couple years back from a family. And I'll never forget this. It was a husband and wife. And it was a 5-bedroom home. 5 bedrooms. It was 5,000 square feet. All right? 4 bedrooms up, 1 bedroom in the basement. 2-car garage. And the only people that lived there were the husband, wife, and one, I think, 11-year-old kid. Right? And just out of curiosity, I says, well, why are you moving? Right? And the answer was, we wanted to upgrade to a bigger house. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, a bigger house for what? I doubt that the 2 of you, the 3 of you, including the child, can even utilize the space you have now. But that's what we've done. And why did they do that? Because somebody got a raise and they just had to spend it. And when you really boil it down, it's because probably somebody else had a bigger house and someone was kind of trying to keep up. Somebody said the other day, keeping up with the Joneses, right? If you look around us right now, we have all these conveniences at our disposal. Yet we believe we're so pressed for time and so busy. Think about, I remember being a kid, in the 70s and 80s, and having to go to your friend's house to see them, right? Now your friend can be anywhere in the world, and you can dial them up just like that and talk to them face to face, video chat, using apps like WhatsApp and things like that, right? How many times have you called your friends this week just to say, hey, what's happening? Just calling to check on you. You can text them anywhere in the world. You can call them anywhere in the world. And yet we don't communicate with people. We have all the tools to do it, but we don't do that. Why? Because we believe we're so busy. Right? You look around you right now and you see all these people. They have all these degrees and all this education, but they seem to be void of simple common sense, decency, decorum, discretion. We look at, all the knowledge people have, and they have so little judgment, all the information at your fingertips, and yet it seems as if people are getting more and more ignorant. Okay? And, you know, it's unfortunate, you know. And what's the worst thing you see right now is you see all these spectacular looking people, great looking on the outside, void of any character and substance, void of any spirituality, any integrity. And it's quite, and one of the first things people love to do, they love to call out the degrees they have. As my dad used to say, there's a lot of educated idiots out here. Okay? And it's unfortunate because you find out more and more how much people are programmed, but people are programmed to their own detriment. You're programmed to hate your life. You're programmed to feel you're missing something. You're programmed to think that your happiness is in the next place, the next vacation, the next partner, the next party, the next trip, the next car, the next house, the next bump in salary. And you haven't even realized that just being content and with what you have, and being content doesn't mean being complacent. I understand that. You can always work for more. But if you're not happy, if you cannot be happy with what you currently have, no amount, okay? No amount will make you happy. And the American dream as it's sold, if you haven't realized yet, it doesn't work. And one of the most dangerous things you can have in life is the delusion that it does. It's the delusion that it'll work out. It's the delusion that your happiness is in the next spot, the next vacation. If I earned X more, if only I had that house, if only I lived in that neighborhood, if only I had this feature. Okay? Because what happens is it blinds you to reality. Exactly. You have to be at peace with yourself. And that peace comes with a certain amount of contentment, realizing you have all you need. As a matter of fact, a lot of us have way more than we could ever need. And if we worked on simplifying our lives, if we worked on whittling down to the things we actually needed, okay, and worked on the things that really mattered, like our character, like our integrity, like our ability to relate to people, like our abilities to connect with people, like our abilities to be assets to the people around us. When we meet people, if we can actually see and ask ourselves, how can I be more valuable to this person, as opposed to what can I get from this person? Because you know what? There's a lot of people in this world, and everything they're looking to do is always get, take, want, ask, more. And, you know, it's, your happiness is in your level of peace with yourself. I learned that from my dad. My dad told me, listen, that at day's end, when I sleep alone. Okay? And everything that I do, I have to be able to sleep with myself. And I look at some people and I ask myself, how can you sleep with yourself? And that's why you see a lot of people, sometimes they have a lot of money, but they're run down. They're depressed. They're anxious. They're just not happy. And what does that come from? Because you can't fool yourself. You can't fool your spirit. You can't fool your soul. Okay? We have an inherent, I mean, unless you're wired different, and there's a few people that are wired differently. Okay? But we have an inherent knowledge of right and wrong. You know what that inherent knowledge is? Whenever we're doing something, right? Especially something that is not right to someone else, we know it because we know we wouldn't want someone to do it to us. And that in itself will keep you up. My dad told me You have to be able to enjoy a good night's sleep. And in order to enjoy a good night's sleep, you have to be able to sleep with yourself. In order to sleep with yourself, you have to be well intended and have done well by everyone as best as you can. What does that mean? Everybody's going to be happy with you? Absolutely not. It's not about pleasing people. Okay? It's about being able to sit comfortably within yourself, knowing that you did your best. Knowing that you tried the best that you could. Knowing that you extended yourself to make sure that you advanced the people around you while you advanced yourself. That's not to say you should neglect yourself. That's not to say you should not try to do good things for yourself or have good things for yourself, but not at the detriment of other people. All right? And if you don't learn anything else that's going on around you right now, all right, understand that, yes, it is about feeling good in your own skin. And in order to feel good in your own skin, you have to do well. You have to do good by you. You have to do good for you. But then you also have to let that good spread out to other people, because it's not just about you. You have to be honest and straightforward with people. All right? And you have to truly want what's best for the people around you. Because truthfully, what's best for the people around you is what's best for you, because that is the environment you're creating for yourself. An environment of peace, an environment of love, an environment of giving, an environment of compassion and kindness. Not always looking to get. Because the truth is, if you give enough, and mind you, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people in this world that are always looking to get from you, will never give. Right? So you have to be mindful of that. But if you create a certain environment with the right people around you, you'll be okay. I'm a firm believer of that. I saw that in my father's life. Okay? Yeah, could he have had way more money than he had? Sure. But what would it have meant when he was dying? Nothing. Nothing. Could he have had more cars and stuff than he already had? He had a fair amount, I guess, way more than most. But what would that have really meant? Nothing. Okay? The truth is that I've seen people live life the right way and the not so right way. And like I tell people all the time, be very mindful of the story of your life that you're writing. Because that story will be told through the lives of the people you touch over and over and over. It will bear fruit over and over and over. And I have seen bad seeds bear fruit. I have seen good seeds bear fruit. I have seen great lives lived, and I've seen lives lived very poorly. Okay? Stop focusing on, once again, trying to get more, have more. Now focus on being more compassionate, being more conscious about what you have, understanding what's important, what's not important. Stop chasing the next thing. You know, people always ask me, like, how come I'm not a big fan of taking vacations all the time? And, I mean, don't get me wrong, vacations are great, and I'm not knocking vacations. But I have looked at I have looked at people, especially these days, because with the internet, they just bombard you, boom, 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 all the time. How you need to take this vacation. You see all these people taking all these pictures all the time, here, there. And what you don't realize is these people are spending their last dollar just to look like they're having a good time. Seriously. To look like it's a fabulous life. You know, I was fortunate to be around some good friends for my birthday last week, and one of the greatest things that I liked about it is that they understood that I would much rather stay at home with friends and cook than going out to a lavish dinner and spending, you know, over $1,000 for the amount of people we had. And it's not about, you know, not having it. It's not about not being able to afford it. But it's about the camaraderie, the energy, and just the sense of it, you know? And so, you know, I don't know if I even posted those, but, you know, we had a great dinner. We made some steaks on the grill because we had a nice Airbnb. And it was a fantastic time. And I really do believe that we would have had, I'm sure we would have had a great time at a restaurant, but I know I enjoyed being able to cook with my friends and talk and be able to, you know, do all that kind of stuff like that. That I don't really believe that energy, that atmosphere would have existed as it did, you know, in a restaurant setting. Once again, I'm a very simple person. I like simple stuff. You know, and the people that know me know I'd rather sit home and cook. You know, I keep a full bar so people can have a drink. I keep good food so you can eat. But that's me, you know. I've never got sucked into the whole, I need to go here on vacation. You know, somebody said I live in a vacation city. Yeah, I live here because I remember talking to my dad one time, and he said, you know, somebody asked him, he was about going to London for something. And he's like, why? Well, don't you want to go on vacation? He said, he's like, I live where I want to live. That's why I built this house here, because it's my favorite place to live. And he said, believe it or not, and this is funny, and believe it or not, this is actually true, right? He says, every time within reason that you get on a plane to go somewhere for vacation, there is someone probably simultaneously getting on a plane to come to your city, your state, your neck of the woods on vacation. He says, so is the vacation really about the place or the mental attachment you have to it? He said, I go on vacation every single day. He said, vacation is in the mind. If that is what you're going for vacation, to relax, right? He said, I relax because I don't invite stress into my life. I can be relaxed anywhere. And where better to relax than in my favorite house with my favorite people? And that stuck with me since I was a child, you know? And I've always made a point to strive to live where I want to live and surround myself with the people that I want to be surrounded with. Because you will spend a whole lot of time and money trying to chase or be where you'd rather be. Do everything you can and move there. Because you got one life, okay? I've always liked Miami. And one of the best things that I ever did for myself was make a decision, well, you like it so much, why don't you just move there? Because then my desire to take vacation is, and so yeah, it might be a little bit more expensive, but when you look at the fact that I have no desire to go on vacation anywhere, well, there you go. There goes a couple of $1,000s saved every year, you know? Plus the peace of mind, plus the contentment and the happiness of just being where you want to be. Okay? Um, so since I'm going on vacation today in the backyard with my folks, there you go. You know, I don't know if people can really attest to this, but to me, there's nothing better than sitting there and having a great conversation and enjoying a meal, a drink, and a laugh with a good friend or two. That's the height of life for me. Okay? That's the height of life. All right? I don't care about big houses. What does that mean? That's more to clean, more to vacuum. You know? And being here, you know, kind of downsized, even though it's a nice size, you know, unit, but it's downsized from the 5,000 square foot places and all that kind of stuff like that. I feel great. Life is simple. I have very simple furniture. Okay? Very simple. Okay? Because I realized how much I did not need. You know? But if you're not careful, this world will suck you in and will have you chasing your tail, running like a hamster on a wheel, chasing happiness. And your happiness is just not in the next spot. You have it. And you'll realize it the moment you realize that you have probably way more than what you need. All right? Exactly. I mean, you know, and also being healthy. You know, I think that's the biggest prize I have. For me, the biggest source of my happiness and my peace, right, is being grateful that I'm healthy, maintaining that health, and also just being simple and knowing that, you know, that I've done the best that I can. Am I perfect? Am I a perfect man? Far from, all right? But I do the best I can, and that's cool. Could I possibly have more stuff? Yeah. But I could have a lot less too. So I'm grateful for what I have. You know? And I just wish that for you guys, because when I see the level of, I mean, you see it on the internet all the time, right? People pretending to have things they don't have. People buying things they don't need to impress people they don't know. It's like, why? Queen says she's lost 251. Did I read that? 251 pounds? That's awesome. All right. Someone says, Miami, Florida is certainly an acquired taste. It is, you know. Believe it or not, funny as it is, I don't go out that much. Somebody asked, well, why'd you move to Miami? I mean, you don't go out like that. I said, I like watching. I like people watching. I like observing life. One of the greatest things about Miami is you get to observe new and different people every week. Because every week somebody has saved for the entire year to come here and live it up for a week or live it up for a couple of days. And you get to watch. It's pure entertainment. And if you're smart, you learn how to watch and stay out of the way without costing yourself anything. You know? And fantastic views, fantastic restaurants, fantastic, you know, nightclubs and all that kind of stuff like that. But, you know, it's great to just watch. I love being in the center of things but not participating. If that makes any sense. It's like standing in the middle of a dance floor and watching everybody else dance while I sip on a drink. You know? Someone says Miami was boring to me and too many phony people. There are a lot of people living a lot of phony lives. You know, one of the things when I moved here, one of the realizations I got when I moved here is the level of discontent that exists And the reason why is, and one of the things I said to myself, I said, I never want to get to the place where I don't appreciate where I am. Let's be real, this is one of the most sought after vacation spots, not only in the United States, but in the world, because people come here from all over the world just to hang out in Miami. All right? Incredible scenery, beach, the lifestyle, all that stuff is fabulous. But you watch people walking around and they're so on edge. Why? Because they're walking around comparing their lives and trying to compete with the next person. You see so many people here who have undergone all kinds of surgery, you know, to enhance and augment their bodies and all that kind of stuff like that. To the point, I mean, some of it is comical, but some of it is also sad. Because you see some people that probably were very beautiful people prior to, and they just, you know, now to me, once again, who am I? But to me, it's just like, why'd you do that? You know? But it gives you a good window on people, you know? And just like the people who will come here and save up and just blow everything and just go for broke, trying to look rich, trying to look like they have to impress people they don't even know, right? For 3 days. You know, one of the things I always used to love about Miami is coming down here and watching the guys, you know, this is when Ocean Drive used to be open. I found this comical. Watching the guys who would go and rent like a Lamborghini for like, God, I don't even know how much you rent those things for. I think it used to be like $500-600 an hour, right? To drive up and down Ocean Drive with the music blaring so girls could see them. And so, you know, it used to blow my mind because I'm like, so let me get this straight. You're gonna spend $500 or $600 to drive up and down a 2-seater with music loud just to get attention? And let's assume you get this attention, right? Now what do? Because if I meet you, and assuming I'm a girl, I meet you and I say, hey, how you doing? Where you from? And you say New York. Am I supposed to assume you drove your Lamborghini from New York to Miami? What's that conversation like? Oh, so you're in a rented Lamborghini. Oh, okay. And now, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to, after you get my attention, are you trying to return it, or are you going to keep the clock running at 600 an hour? You know? And then what are you going to do? Are you going to buy her a drink? You're going to buy her dinner while that 600 is running? Because, silly me, I would just take $600 and just buy random people drinks and food. Trust me, it works a lot easier. And you get to meet some exciting people and you have a great time and you just sit there and, hey, you get to actually know people. So it says lower level guys will do anything. It's not just the lower level guys. I mean, let's get something straight now, you know. And some people can actually afford it, but then the question is why? What are you doing? Okay? What are you doing? And that'll be the same person that'll complain that somebody only wants them for their money. I remember having a conversation with a guy, and I said, have you ever tried having a conversation with someone and never tell them anything about what you do, or never allude to how much money you have or anything like that? Just have a conversation. And you know what his actual reply to me? Well, what am I supposed to talk about? I said, how about everything else? You know, how about the weather? How about life? How about what they're wearing, their dress, they look nice, whatever it is. You know? And it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. And it happens, someone says women too. It happens both ways. You see people walking around with designer shoes, bags, and stuff like that, trying to give the appearance of wealth when they usually don't have enough. The same amount the bag costs, they probably don't have that much money in their bank account. Whereas I'm always walking around with my with my $50 jeans on, my Target shirt, and my Chucks, and I like it. Someone says we live in a matrix. I don't even know if this is even a matrix. But yeah, to a certain extent. Someone says depressed in order to impress. I guess. But once again, it just goes to the mentality. Yeah, it is nice to have nice things. Of course, it's nice to have nice things, but things don't make you. Make your life more than just stuff. Your currency is your energy. Your currency is your character. Your currency is how you make people feel. That's your true currency. All right? And if anybody's not willing to accept that as compensation for your company, and it's requiring something more than you, or something else, I should say, you may want to second guess it. Don't get me wrong, if you have means and you want to splurge and share with people, that's great, but understand that's not your currency. Okay? That is not your currency. Alright? That's what makes you valuable. That's what makes you you. Anybody can spend money. And a lot of stupid people are willing to spend a whole lot more money than me and probably don't have half as much. Because I look at some of the stuff that people... I remember I saw this thing the other day. I saw a bill. Somebody went and ate at what is this guy's called? Salt Bay? At Salt Bay's restaurant. I don't know what city it was in. And they had a tomahawk at Salt Bay's restaurant. And they charged $1,000 for it. $1,000 for a tomahawk steak? And mind you now, I'm going to post in my stories as soon as I get off, my birthday thing. We had 2 tomahawks that literally were this size. They were 3.5 pounds each. It was feeding over 10 people. But 2, tomahawks like that. And I think they were $65 a piece. But people are willing to spend $1,000 for something that actually costs $65 just to look like they have money, to impress people that they don't really like. And then ask yourself this. And this is the part that always used to get me. And this is just me talking from my angle. If I'm a guy and I'm interested in a girl, and that girl has a modicum of common sense, and she is truly interested in me, let's assume she's interested in me to go for a long-term relationship or just as a friend, okay? She just gives about me. Would I want somebody that's comfortable allowing me to spend $1,000 for something that costs $100? I don't think I want to hang out with that person who is willing to allow me to spend $1,000 for something that costs $100. I mean, don't get me wrong, you spend a little bit more here and there. I could even do $300, for the ambiance and stuff like that. But $1,000? I'm looking at you kind of sideways. First of all, I wouldn't do it. But just the suggestion I will do it, that I should do it, be like, okay. And once again, it's not like I ain't got it. But the question is, why? What are we doing? What am I trying to prove here? Someone says money is identity. Money is not my identity. All right? My identity remains intact whether I have money or not. My value remains intact whether I have money or not. It doesn't matter how much money I have or how little. You know, I had to tell that to a friend of mine one time who was, you know, talking down to someone who didn't have as much as we had. And I said, I had to pull him up and I'm like, oh, don't ever do that in my presence. I said, I remember back in the day when you were sleeping on an air mattress. How would you have felt had somebody talked to you like that at that point in time? I said, don't ever do that in my presence. I don't get down like that. Money means nothing. Character, integrity, you know, that means something. And usually you find people who do that, they don't really feel good about themselves anyway. Because at no point in time, right, should I have to make you feel less than so I can feel better. At no point in time. If that's something that you're into, then you have a problem usually with you. And those people, it's not even if somebody does that to you, it's not even about them having a problem with you. They have a problem with themselves. Okay? They see themselves at a limited place, so as opposed to doing things that they need to do to raise their own value and vision of themselves, they try to diminish you so that you fall below so they can feel better. You know, and I find that very disheartening. But anyway, I digress. Happy Friday, guys. But I always find that interesting, once again. You know, find your happiness in the simple things, man. So it says, I call myself a penny pinching princess. I mean, once again, you know, I mean, hey, I can't say that I've never spent money on nice things, but I always tell people, know the difference between price and value. Okay? And before you spend, you know, establish whether or not this thing has actual value to you. All right? So, anyway. Yeah, it's never cool to talk down to people. Like, what the hell? Come on, man. So it says, what is our health tip of the day? Smile. Smile more. That's your health tip of the day. Drink some water. Treat yourself well. Ask yourself, what can you do to prove to yourself that you love yourself in how you treat yourself today? And regardless of what happens in your life, smile. All right? Smile because you have a chance to make it better. That's my